Have you ever wondered why the blood is red in color? Well, the reason is simply because of the presence of red coloring pigment, which plays a crucial role in transport of respiratory gases. We won't be focusing on this pigment, although we will definitely talk about it. In this video, we'll dwell more on red blood cells. We will know what they are, their normal values, morphology, properties, and lifespan. When we say morphology, we mean shape, size, and structure of the red blood cell. So guys, let's get into the real thing. In our basic biology, we were made to understand that blood is made up of red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. Among these cells of blood, the red blood cells are the blood cells that lack nucleus, unlike the white blood cells which have nucleus. Another name for the red blood cell is the erythrocyte. Erythrocyte is coined from Greek word erythros, which means red or reddish in color. Just as we said in the beginning of this video, the red blood cell is red in color because it contains a red coloring pigment which is known as hemoglobin. And this hemoglobin helps the red blood cell in transporting respiratory gases. When we compare the red blood cell with the white blood cell, the red blood cell is larger in number, but the white blood cell is larger in size. The amount of red blood cell varies in men and women, although the normal amount ranges between 4 to 4.5 million per cubic millimeter. In adult male, the red blood cell is 5 million per cubic millimeter, whereas in adult females, the red blood cell is 4.5 million per cubic millimeter. Let's look at the morphology of these cells. Firstly, we start with the shape. The normal shape of the red blood cell is disc shape and it is biconcave. This makes the red blood cell assume the shape of a dumbbell. So if you are to pick a single red blood cell, you will observe that the central portion of the red blood cell is thinner compared with the outer periphery, which is thicker. The biconcave shape of the red blood cell has some advantages. So let's briefly look at some of the advantages of the biconcave shape of red blood cell. One of the advantages of the biconcave shape of the red blood cell is that it allows oxygen and other substances faster into the inner portion of the red blood cell. A large surface area of the red blood cell helps to absorb or remove different substances. In a situation whereby the volume of the cell changes, the tension that will be on the membrane of the cell will not be much. The shape of the red blood cell enables them to pass through small capillaries without being damaged. As for the size of the red blood cell, it is 7.2 micron in diameter, although the normal range is from 6.9 to 7.4 micron in diameter. We said earlier that the red blood cell is thinner in the center and at the periphery it is thicker. At the periphery, the red blood cell is about 2.2 micron and at the center it is about 1 micron. The reason for the difference in thickness at the center and at the periphery is because of the biconcave shape of the cell. The surface area of the red blood cell is 120 square micron and the volume is about 85 to 90 cubic micron. Let's take a close look at the normal structure of the red blood cell. Just as we said in the prelude of this video, the red blood cell have no nucleus. There are simply non-nucleated form elements in the blood. It will interest you to know that the only mammal whose red blood cell have nucleus is camel. For the fact that human red blood cells lack nuclei, DNA is also absent in them. Other cell organelles such as mitochondria and Golgi apparatus are also absent in the red blood cell. The energy produced by these cells is from glycolytic process, reason being that they lack mitochondria. Glucose uptake by the red blood cell is not determined or controlled by the insulin. The reason is simply because the cell do not have insulin receptor. Just as we humans have our body skeleton, the red blood cell also have their own special type of skeleton known as cytoskeleton. It is made up of actin and spectrin. Both actin and spectrin are together anchored on transmembrane protein by another protein known as ankyrin. In a situation whereby spectrin is not present in the red blood cell, it will lead to a condition known as hereditary spherocytosis. In this condition, the red blood cell do not have its normal shape. It becomes globular instead of biconcave. This makes the red blood cell fragile and easily ruptured when in hypotonic solution. Let's have a close look at the properties of the red blood cells. Firstly, the specific gravity of the red blood cell ranges between 1.092 to 1.101. When the blood is taken out of blood vessel, the red blood cell pile up above one another like pile of coins. This phenomenon is called Rouleaux Formation. Rouleaux Formation is made faster through the help of plasma protein like globulin and fibrinogen. Just as we know, the blood is made up of three basic types of cells: the red blood cell, the white blood cell, and platelets. The portion of the blood that is occupied by the red blood cell is known as the packed cell volume. It is expressed in percentage. Another name for packed cell volume is hematocrit volume. Normally, it ranges from 40 to 45% in adult male and 38 to 42% in adult female. The ability of the red blood cell to remain suspended divided uniformly in blood during circulation is another important property of the red blood cells. This is what is known as suspension stability. How long can the red blood cell live in the body before they get old and worn out? It is just about 120 days. Once they get old, they are removed from circulation through reticuloendothelial system. Alright guys, it was great to have your attention until this moment. Thank you so much for your time. Please share this channel with friends. You will be doing them great favor. Until next time, remain blessed. God got you.